Hello guys, this is Laura and this is a continuation part number 2 of how and why I read cards, the way I learned it and what I know. A few things I forgot to mention, and as well as the video was getting too long. So we have our decks. I'm going to use this today as an example. I have my notes so that I don't forget. So I already mentioned crystallizing clear questions, helping people to dig deeper in their situations and what exactly they want and why, because people can arrive with very vague questions, so cannot repeat it enough, cannot stress about this enough. We're going to see some examples again today, but the other thing that I forgot to mention is that how do we read the cards? So some people say that we position the cards in a spread, let's say, and we read them if we are Japanese or Arabic or whatever, we read them right to left, and if we are uh, Westerners, we read them left to right. That's not how I read the cards. I don't read them this way. I mean, of course, as I'm putting them out, I can already see what's coming up, but let's say I have 6 or 8 or whatever amount of cards in here. I will not be reading them like this. I will get an information from the total and full picture of what I'm seeing, and I can read them in any way, absolutely, because this is just one story. This is just one answer. So we don't have to get stuck on what was the combination between these two cards. How do I read them? No, a tarot practitioner is like a translator, and if tarot is a language, then we have all these words that sometimes don't come in the right order, but together as a picture we get suddenly this feeling, and we get the picture that is coming to us, and it's not coming from our head. That's why we don't get stuck at the symbols as we're reading, because that means we will shift from feeling and being in the flow into thinking. And you can't think your way into other person's energy field. That's just not how it works. You cannot think your way into the esoteric. You just can feel it. So if you have to look at the symbolisms on the cards, you do it after you have already explained to the person what is it that you've seen here, and then you look at the symbols. Let's have an example. A client comes to you and says, should I move the country? Very vague and broad question. Do you have you ask them, of course, are you alone? Or do you have a family? What are the options? And then if it's more than one country, or what are the options? Well, it's whether I stay here and I will have to find a job, or I take this job offer and I move to that country. So we need to get all these details. We don't just jump into questions like, tell me about my career, tell me about my purpose. Like, what exactly do you want to know? Where are you at right now? What are you thinking? Because this is not a crystal ball, guys. Tarot is not a crystal ball. And we are not walking psychic oracles. Some of us are, and you can just like completely read into a person's energy. I can't yet. I would like to, but so I can't just like look into a crystal ball that will literally show me a movie. No. And even if the crystal ball will show you a movie, it will be still just one possibility, because if tomorrow you'll trip and break a leg and you won't be able to fly for whatever reasons because you had to have a surgery, while you're still here having a surgery because you went to buy those cigarettes that you didn't specifically had to buy, but you went to, and so your future unfolded in a completely different way. Now, while you're having surgery, somebody else has taken that position in Germany that you were planning to take. And the whole thing changed, but what you were looking at a month ago was not yet including the fact that you started smoking because you were stressed, and so many things are changing. So the future possibility is just one thing. That's another point. That's why we are very careful with trying to read the future for other people, because it's two things. Either if they're supposed to know it, the cards will show it one way or another, so that maybe it's a message from their guides, deceased loved ones, that are trying to warn them about something. Or if no matter how many times you're asking about the future, it just keeps showing to you what is now, it means that in order for you to move into any kind of future, you have to change this in the now first. As well as there are some people that take everything very literally, have high levels of anxiety, and as tarot practitioners, we have to be able to read into those sort of people, and when we feel that the person is anxious, we try and sort of stir them away from reading into the future, because we don't want them to get scared and then pick up that one possibility of the future and create it for themselves. So we have to warn people, do you really want to know the future? What do you need to know it for? Because you want to change it? Is something bad happening right now that you feel like you want to change the course of this events? Then it's easier to find out what actions am I taking right now that are causing the situation in which I am right now. So we always try to bring people back into being conscious and responsible for their own actions before we go on spying on other people and reading the future and predicting all kinds of things. As well as, very often, most of the time, we receive information not from the cards, and that's why we don't really read into the symbols, because the cards are just pictures to trigger our felt perception, and we receive information from that person's energy field. That's how the reading that I had, with the woman in Australia was how she was telling me that my husband will be traveling to Germany. She absolutely couldn't see it from the cards. She was receiving information from my energy field, from his energy field. And so if there is an information that is coming through that we don't see anywhere on the symbols on the cards, we have no right of holding it back. You can simply tell the person, okay, I can't see it on the cards, but this thought keeps repeating itself and keeps knocking on my door, and this is the thought. Take it or leave it, but this is what's coming through. So this is our job, to deliver the information that comes through. What is another thing? When we read for a person distantly, we need the exact name of that person. Some people say, oh, I don't want to give you my real name. Well, I'm sorry, then I cannot read for you. Can I have your picture at least? No, I cannot give you my picture. Then how am I meant to connect with you? I don't know your real name. I don't have your picture. So I need something. Of course, if you're sitting right in front of me, none of this is necessary. But if we're asking, let's say, can you please have a look at how will my husband's job interview go? Then I need the name of your husband. I need the name of your husband, full name. Some people ask for date of birth, and also it would be, some people need a picture. I don't specifically need a picture because it means that it would have to be on the phone, or you would have to print it out. The phone sometimes turns off, and so name is enough. And if the person has a special nickname, that would be even better because it becomes even more personal. Okay, so now let's have a look at the example of a reading, as well as one more thing. If there are negative situations that we see on the cards, We are not sugarcoating them, we're not hiding them, we're saying them the way they are. We might pull more clarification cards in order to make it clear, so we don't just tell a person, looks like you might die, goodbye. No, we clarify what it is that we see, and when we get more information about the not so nice negative situation, we explain it to the person, but we say things the way they are. We have no right to withdraw, hide, or sugarcoat anything, because we are transmuters as tarot practitioners. So, adding more cards if the situation negative, and let's see an example. The person has come, her name is Maria. Maria wants to know, should I move to France? Are we going to have a look at should she move to France? Or is this the right question? No. No one will tell you should you or shouldn't you, unless it's your best friend and you go and tell her all and everything, but she will know the context. As a tarot practitioner, we don't know the context, and people usually try to test us and see how much she will be able to tell me. But it's very hard to be able to tell, all and everything if we don't know the context. So we explain to people how the cards work, and then we make them crystallize the question for us. First of all, the cards cannot decide for you whether you should or shouldn't. Your guides will not decide for you whether you should or shouldn't, and no one will decide for you. So instead of should Maria move to France, we're going to ask a question. Like, what will happen? We pay attention to the cards that fall out. We don't necessarily always have to announce them to the client because we don't know yet, but we keep it in mind. And if something comes up later, we take it in consideration. What will happen, or how will things unfold? How will Maria's life unfold if she moves to France? Or what will the outcome be for Maria if she moves to France? One card. What will the outcome be, or how will Maria's life unfold? What will happen with Maria's life, in Maria's life, if she stays where she is right now? And we can have a third option, something else, let's say, what will happen if she simply changes the job? If the context was, I'm going to France because there is a job proposition, or I quit this job, or I'm losing already this job as it is right now. So if she leaves, if she stays and changes the job. We have three options here. We put these two aside, of course, but we open. What will happen if she moves to France? This doesn't tell us anything. Like, it would be insane, I'm sorry to say, to try and predict what will happen to her if she moves to France. Please expand. Let's expand and let's see some more. What will happen to Maria's life, or how will her life unfold if she moves to France? Now, of course, we also have to know, before we do this, we also have to know, is she moving to France because there is a job proposition, right? So we are imagining that there is a job proposition in France and that's why she's moving there. So then we pull more cards. Because if she's just moving to France just to live there with no specific job perspectives, then it's a completely different reading. So let's say we can read this two ways. She had a job proposition, that's why she's moving to France. She'll put all this time and energy. It will be very hard for her to adjust and adapt. The boss, or we can clarify again who is this person, but the organization wherever she will be working and the people that she's working with could be the owner of the company, could be her manager. There are two men involved that are making her life really crappy. Or this could be, if she moves to France, she'll be waiting for a long time for a decision from them, and will be causing her a lot of stress. She'll be really feeling like she's been stripped off of all her resources and she's really feeling out of place, which is causing her a lot of emotional stress and turmoil. And then eventually when she finally starts working for them, the organization is not what they seemed and it's just not working out for her. She completely feels like she's stuck. So the job is not what it seems it was, right? Okay, if we need more clarification, we pull more cards. Who is this person? Who is this person? Now, if we look at this reading in the sense that she's moving there, but there is no job proposition, she just loves France and she wants to move there. It will be hard for her. She might possibly be missing her mother. It will be hard. It will take a long time for her to adjust and adapt. Maybe she will meet a man there that she will marry or have some sort of long-term relationships with that will break her heart and put her into this state of spinning over and over again. Then we clarify if she's moving to France just to move to France because that's what she wants to do. Then we clarify, let's say, who is this King of Swords? This is a lawyer, so maybe she's living, she's gonna have some issues with the paperwork. She's not gonna get the visa. She's gonna be waiting a very long time. Maybe she'll have some legal issues there because she doesn't have a work permit. So it will be hard for her to settle down and it will take a lot of paperwork that will linger and linger. Then we clarify, what is this King of Pentacles and the Hierophant talking about? Is it a marriage and relationships? Yes, it's a family that she was hoping to have with someone that initially went down the drain. It didn't work. Then why didn't it work? What will suddenly happen? So this is, we kind of peeking into the future here, right? What will suddenly happen? Should she stay away from this man now that she knows? Why will these relationships collapse? Or is it talking about her leaving the country where she is right now will mean that she'll have to leave her husband? So this is also a question to ask a client. Are you single now? Are you married? Will you be moving to France alone or with your partner? So let's say that she said she's single. So why will these relationships with this person collapse? Why will she get heartbroken? Will they separate? He will leave her for some other person, for some other better life. He's a very, maybe he's an unfaithful person that doesn't know how to keep his genitals in his pants, and he's constantly looking for more pleasure, for more. He met There is a triangle. So for me, Three of Pentacles, another thing, why we work with our decks and we don't let other people mix them, and why I don't believe that somebody else can take a picture and read your reading and explain to the person what was in the cards, is because my way of reading the cards is my way of reading the cards that comes from my experience. For me, Three of Pentacles is not only a lesson, is not only learning something, but it's a triangle. It could mean you were in a family of 3 children, there is a triangle, so there is another woman involved that was he considered prettier, or he considered she can give him more, she offered him more, and so he will leave you. So now you know already, stay away from that person. Another woman, you'll travel the world that will take a lot of strings out of you, and then, you know, everything will be not the way you expected it to be. So we can continue clarifying depending on what the other person wants to know, right? So this was just one option. What will happen to Maria if she goes to France? A, if she had a job proposition there. B, if she didn't. We need to know this. Otherwise, we're just going to be staring at these cards without knowing what on earth is it talking about. Then we have the second option here. What will happen to her if she'll stay? What will happen to her? She'll either meet the love of her life, or she'll make the right choice. We absolutely cannot say anything, or this is just simply talking about choices. We cannot say anything just from this, so we shuffle our deck back again, especially if we put the previous cards back in the deck. If we didn't, we're using another deck to ask more questions so that we don't run out of the cards here. Just for the purpose of the example, I'm using the same deck, but normally if you've seen my readings, I use more than one deck. So, expanding on what will happen to Maria if she will stay where she is right now, in the country where she is right now. Let's say she's in Thailand. What will happen to Maria if she'll stay in Thailand? How will her life unfold? What will her life look like? How will things turn out for her? What will the outcome be if she chooses to stay? She'll be lying to herself, and she'll be constantly going back and forth and wanting to leave. So the choice to stay, she will be constantly questioning and doubting her choice. Did I make the right choice? And she'll be living a lie. Yes, there will be some sort of happiness and joy for a moment, but it's very short-lived. Is this enough? For me, it's not enough. What else? What else do we need to know? What else do we need to know about how will her life unfold if she stays? She'll continue feeling like, she'll continue going back to that same question of, did I make the right choice? Did I make the right decision? Did I miss the opportunity to have a better life? Then we have Seven of Wands. She's feeling defensive, and we keep having this Queen of Cups at the bottom. So why is she feeling this defensive? Let's find out what it is. She's feeling defensive because somehow she feels trapped. She feels trapped, and something is happening with her family dynamics. Is it her mother? So we don't know, like, why she feels trapped and what is happening related to her family. Or maybe she feels trapped and she's unhappy. Let's clarify. Ten of Cups. What is it talking about? Yes, it's talking about something to do with her family, her mother, as we already had the Queen of Cups at the bottom. Some distance, growing cold, having arguments, being spiteful, something is going on. So, what is exactly happening with her mother and her family? So regardless of what's happening, because the client might not want to expand this, but if they want, you can ask. But we already see that if she stays, she'll continue feeling that she should have gone. She'll be always going back to that feeling like she missed that opportunity, and she won't be able to just land and be here and there. She'll be still thinking about that missed chance. Did I make the right choice? And then apart from that, there are also some family issues here where she feels attacked. She feels that she has to hold her guard, and she feels defensive. So what exactly is going on in her family with her mother that is keeping her, that is making her feel so defensive and stuck and trapped and whatever else? Some really mean words have been said. It was like a big argument, basically a massive falling out with her family. There is it's an end, like there is no way back from here. So many things have been done, so much backstabbing has been done that it's the end. The relationships with her mother has come to an end. So we can see it in a way also that if she stays, she's not only going to be questioning her choices, but she also will end up falling out with her family, where they literally came clashing the mentalities. There were some arguments over something that has been said and done, moves and actions have been taken that cannot be taken back. Words have been said that cannot be taken back. If the client wants to expand from here more, then we go on expanding. For now, we put this away, imagining that the client said, okay, I've heard enough, sounds like leaving is a better idea, although maybe I should either look more into visas, or what am I going to be doing there, or I should check more the background of that company, and I should definitely keep in mind that the man that I will meet there is not the right person for me. So if I meet someone that is resembling that King of Pentacles, which we explain to the person, the King of Pentacles personality as we go, it's someone that's kind of down to the ground, someone that has their own business or knows how to make money, someone that's very like earthy. We don't attach astrological signs here. Someone who is very pragmatic, someone who usually values family, but also someone that can be materialistic, lack emotional connection, or maybe it is someone that you meet at work, if we were talking about work. So all of that has to be clarified, and then we look at the last option. Or what happens if Maria just takes another job? She will still be thinking, maybe I should have gone to France. This is very clear. Or it's not clear because this is just a possibility that she's never even looked at. She's never even thought about it, but she came to talk to you and to get some advice. And while you told her those two options, she decided, well, let's add this third one. But she actually haven't thought it through. She doesn't even have an idea of what kind of job she could get or what kind of job she should get. So it's like very vague, and she hasn't even started looking into it. Doesn't even properly exist as an option. So we still expand. What will happen if she stays and gets another job, changes the job? How will her life look like, and what will happen in her life if she stays and changes the job? And we go on pulling the cards, as many as we need. Okay, so this could go two ways. She'll be working in a company where her position won't be as high. She'll be still continuously thinking about the past, which is going back to the past, going back to the decisions that she didn't make. Maybe I should have gone to maybe I should have gone to France. She's not extremely happy because she's in a position in the job where she's like learning, or she's an assistant, and it's really not something that's making her happy. But then again, we can read it as there is some sort of triangle at work, and maybe her superior or this man involved. So let's, because we have strengths here, so it's someone who is either someone who is higher in a position than her that is causing her all this, like she's not happy there, maybe the boss is too tough, or this will really have to, she will really have to toughen up her personality. We cannot toughen up her spirits and toughen up in general, but we really cannot say anything just simply from this. So we go on clarifying. Can we please clarify the Three of Swords and Pentacles? And this is what jumps out. So obviously it's a triangle. She'll end up getting involved with someone that will break her heart. Can we please clarify this situation? What will happen if she will simply change jobs? She'll still be thinking, apart from that, she'll quit eventually, and she'll still be constantly going back and thinking how stupid I was for not going to France. Emotional turmoil, some sort of connections that are toxic connections, and she'll still be thinking about leaving. So she'll be either stuck in the same place where she is right now, or she'll quit her job and go ahead. No, she'll be feeling very stagnant, she'll be feeling stuck. And then eventually she'll have no more patience, she'll just quit and leave. So all of this can be either we check bottom of the deck, yes, she'll leave, or will I do this? I'll open the deck, and it's like looking at the bottom of the card, but you also clarify that maybe the salary is not good and she really feels like it's not the right place for her. She has nothing going for her here. So this is how I read, and I ask more questions if it's not clear for me. I ask more clarification questions. What kind of job will it be? What will she be doing? And all that stuff. So the clearer the questions, the more questions we ask, the more information we have. Sometimes also I read the images literally. For instance, there is a very lovely, and that's why I like this deck, there is a very lovely card for Seven of Pentacles. When I was reading for a friend of mine who says that she learned to read the room so much because she never felt emotionally safe in her family, then when we were reading to find out about her partner, this card came up, and this is literally the little her that I was already feeling and picking up, sitting and trying to decide who she has to be and how she has to adjust to the situation, and how she has to literally like melt and transform and shapeshift into who she should shapeshift this time in order for her to be safe. And so the images we read literally sometimes. I do, at least, because that's what it is. And for instance, Six of Swords can mean not only moving and not only carrying the past, but it also can mean that it will take 6 months to move because there are 6 swords. And so sometimes we just have to feel into the reading and the energy and what's going on, and pull more and more and more cards, because each single card is more words. What else? What else will happen if she will stay and change job? What else? She'll feel stuck, like nothing is moving. same defensiveness again, same questioning, did I make the right choice? Like, everything is sort of okay, and the job is not that bad, but I still feel I have to hold my guard. Why do you have to hold your guard? What is this nasty arguments, or what is this related to? What is this talking about? It's the situation will force her to leave. Like, no matter how much she will try to stay, time will pass and she will end up leaving. She will end up going. It's a transformation that she couldn't and shouldn't have avoided. So going to France obviously is the best option for her. So even if she decides to stall and stay, life will still force her out into growing, learning, and maturing. Always checking bottom of the deck if we're lacking information, looking here, follow your dreams, and so on, and asking more questions. So this is how I do it. You are not any less of a reader or practitioner if you ask questions when we don't know the answer. There is another question that I've been asked: can we pick up things from other people while reading for them, like some negativity and some energy? Please remember where you start and where you end. Keep your boundaries. Don't get involved and relieve other people's situations. Remember, you're just translating. You don't have to become their mom or dad, or you don't have to get involved. That's why we don't get involved and we don't pass on our thoughts or judgment on another person's situation, because we're simply there to give them information, like a high priestess, unattached. We try to be as clear of a channel as we can. So when we are and we don't get emotionally involved and we don't try to teach people a lesson or give them our opinions, then it becomes much easier for us not to pick up anything. At the end of the reading, once again, when you have looked at all the cards and you have delivered all the information, you can look then at your symbols there and see, is there any symbolism that would add on to this reading? We don't do it while the information is literally pouring into you, and then you stop the flow and you start digging into the symbolism of the card. Oh, there are 6 of these wands. Does that mean that I will only be successful at this job for 6 months? Turn off your brain. You don't need it. Not for this. What else? At the end of the reading, it's also very good to just disconnect and detach and say it out loud. I choose to disconnect and detach from my previous client or from all my clients, and I release from my body, my aura, and my system any energy I might have picked up from them, release it into the earth, into the universe, imagining how all the stuff that you heard you had to tell them is literally out of your auric field, and allowing that to go, narrowing down the questions as much as possible and asking more questions separately rather than one vague one at the time, explaining to people how tarot works, and the clearer the question, the clearer the answer. Reminding people that the future can change the moment we have seen it. So if you now know that that man that you meet in France will betray you, the moment you meet someone and you feel like, oh, is that the person? Then be cautious, look into it. Don't just jump head first into it. And the future changes the moment we see it, and we have the strength and the choice to change the future, because it's literally changing all the time, depending on what actions we're taking and what decisions we're making. We're not analyzing the information that comes to us through the cards. We're simply transmuting and translating and giving it to the person the way they need to receive it. Okay, that's pretty much it for me. Thank you for being here, and I believe that that's all I have to say. That's how I read, and I'm still learning from people, from all the readings, from feedback. Always ask for feedback from people, but then don't rely too much on this feedback, because as I was telling earlier, don't rely. Don't get offended and don't get discouraged so much by it, because as I was saying earlier, the woman that read for me and had that amazing reading that predicted like few years of my life, few years ahead of time, if she would have asked me for my feedback right away, I would have told her that it's nonsense. And then later on, I wanted to give her feedback 3 years later when I found out that everything she said was true. I contacted the shop where she was working, and they said that she passed away from brain cancer 4 months after she gave me the reading. So obviously, maybe because she was so close to her transition, she was very in tune, or maybe she was simply an amazing psychic and tarot reader. I don't know. I never got a chance to speak to her and give her my honest feedback after experiencing everything she has told me. She has forever inspired me though, but don't get discouraged by the feedback. If the person says, this doesn't sound like true, or if they're saying, what are you talking about? Then you just kindly, gently tell them, okay, well, this is the information I'm receiving. You can take it or leave it. The choice is always yours. Thank you for being here. And kind of diplomatically kick them out and finish the reading. And then always ask for feedback and tell people, you don't have to give me feedback now, but the moment some things will start playing out and you notice some things from what I was saying, I would be happy to hear feedback from you. If you're reading and telling them about their situation right now, you can get the feedback right away. So feedback is very good. Honest, constructive feedback helps me learn, and also understand how each card plays out. Don't use brand new decks for your readings. Obviously, I've made a few mistakes like that. The cards never lie. The only problem can be is that we either misinterpret them because we apply our own mind into something that we need to read intuitively, or because we haven't pulled enough cards and we haven't asked crystal clear, narrow enough questions. Okay, thank you for listening. Thank you for being here. I hope this was helpful. This was Elora. Thank you and goodbye.